Hi, and welcome back to yet another video about a Canada immigration update. So today I'm going to be talking to you about different pathways through which you can immigrate to Canada without doing an English or French test or with a basic competency in English language. A lot of you have reached out to me. Well, not a lot, but a few of you have reached out to me asking me if there's any way they could migrate to Canada without having to sit for the English proficiency language test. Yes, I have compiled a few different pathways through which you can take to your advantage to immigrate to Canada without sitting for the English proficiency test or with a basic minimum CLB of at least CLB 4. Hello, welcome back to Annie's channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for always clicking and coming back to watch my videos. So kindly take this moment to click on the subscribe button and the notification bell so that each and every time I post a video, then you're notified. So there are a few concerns that passing the English test might be a little bit tricky, especially if English is not your first language. But even for people whose first languages are English, passing this test can be a little bit tricky. That is why I am here with different pathways that you guys can take advantage of to come to Canada. So without wasting your time, I will go directly to these pathways. One of the reasons why Canada requires an English proficiency test is because this is primarily an English and French speaking country. They need to be sure that you can communicate with your neighbors, doctors, and everybody around you in case you need help or just for communication purposes. It is really a basic requirement that all of us need to get. However, if you do not have such competency, it doesn't mean you cannot come to Canada. So these are the few different pathways you can actually use to come to Canada without getting the English test. Number one, apply to a university which does not require an English test. So there are a few universities in Canada who will accept you without the English test. These universities include number one, University of Regina. Number two, we have Carleton University. Number three, we have Cambridge College. Number four, we have University of Saskatchewan, University of Winnipeg, and then we have Thompson Rivers University. So these universities are some of the universities and colleges, as I have mentioned, Cambridge College, that will accept you without having to sit for an English test. So take advantage of that. I have talked about in my previous videos how to become a permanent resident through becoming a student first. So if you have missed that video or if you want to refresh your knowledge about becoming a Canadian permanent resident through being a university student, I have done a few videos. I will link them here on how to get a university, how to apply, the requirements and all that. I've done lots of videos, so I will leave a link over here just so you can take advantage or refresh your knowledge on how to become a student. And after that, I've also talked on how to become a permanent resident after you finish school. Pretty much in a nutshell, you come here as an international student. After graduation, you apply for work permit, which can go up to 3 years maximum. Within the 3 years, if you have worked for 1 year continuously, then you can apply for a PR. So that's one way of becoming a Canadian permanent resident without having to do the English language test. Number two, the second pathway is through getting a job. You should get a job offer from a Canadian employer with documentation indicating that you have the basic minimum skills to communicate in English. So ideally, you do not need an English test or test of your English proficiency to actually get a work permit. It is not a requirement. Employers in Canada have different requirements, and so if they feel that you're competent enough to undertake your duties with the language that you have, with the basic minimum language proficiency that you have, then they will definitely hire you without having you sit for an English test. Remember, there's no legal requirement that you have to attend your English test before you can work in Canada. An immigration requirement is not an employer requirement. And so if your employer feels that you are able to communicate in either English or French, then they are able to exempt you from sitting that test. So how do you get these employers? I've done videos about how you can get job offers in Canada from outside Canada. I will leave a link of some of the videos up here. Please go watch them and see how you can apply for a job from wherever country you are to come work in Canada. Number 3. The third pathway through which you can become a Canadian resident without sitting for English test, or at least having the basic requirement of English proficiency, is through provincial nominee programs. So there are certain streams within the provincial nominee programs that would allow you to come to Canada with very minimum scores ranging from CLB4 or 5 and above. And I have also talked about these provincial nominee programs, but I will just go through real quick some of the programs, the PNPs that will allow you come to Canada with at least a very low CLB scores. So number 1 is the Saskatchewan Provincial Nominee Program under in-demand job category. With this stream, you will be allowed to apply, and at least you can be nominated with at least a CLB of 4. If you have 4 and above, then you can be allowed to apply for such jobs under these streams. Remember, for general express entry to becoming Canadian resident, the minimum CLB score is 7. So you have to get 7 and above. But with this stream under Saskatchewan Provincial Nominee Program, you can actually be nominated with as low minimum score as CLB 4. So take advantage of that. The other provincial nominee program that would allow you with a low English test results is Nova Scotia Provincial Nominee Program under Skilled Worker Program. Again, I have talked about it. I will leave a link of Nova Scotia Provincial Nominee Program app, so you can go back and watch that video and how you can apply. For this program, you only need a score of CLB 5 and above, and as such, with a low score of CLB, you can be nominated to actually apply through Nova Scotia Provincial Nominee Program under Skilled Worker stream. The other way you can immigrate to Canada without sitting for the English test, without sitting for the English test, is through family sponsorship. So you do not require any English test to be sponsored to become a Canadian permanent resident if you're being sponsored by a Canadian citizen or a Canadian permanent resident who is at least 18 years old. So for those of you who have relatives in Canada, you can take advantage of that. They can sponsor you. You can come to Canada. You don't have to sit for the English test. And so the people who are my relatives, and you can prove that my relatives, you better talk to me, okay? Soon I'll be able to sponsor some people, okay? Yeah, I just said that. Yeah. So that is the other way of becoming a Canadian permanent resident without having to sit for English test. And the last and the fifth way of becoming a Canadian permanent resident without having to sit for an English test is through becoming an investor. So if you are an investor to Canada, then you don't have to sit for the English test. Like, you're not required to come here and invest and you have to speak in English or French. So if you have lots of money, you want to invest in the Canadian economy, you're all welcome. You don't have to sit for an English test. So guys, these are the ways or pathways through which you can immigrate to Canada without sitting for an English test. I hope this video was helpful. I hope this video probably shed some light for those of you who are really struggling to sit or do their English test or even pass the English test. The struggle is real. I hear you. I get you. I had to sit for the test. It's not a very it can be challenging if your first language is not English, but I get you. For the people who have passed it, voila, that is a sure bet of becoming a Canadian citizen if you really have passed well. So if you have any questions, if you have any insights, if you have any comments, please write them in the comment section below. I'll gladly answer your questions, and I'll also gladly read your concerns, your insights, to also like educate myself. So see you in the next video, and kindly guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and click on the notification button. That helps me a lot. For people who are new here, the people who have joined us recently, thank you so much. So stay tuned for the next immigration video. I can't wait to see you in that video. Bye bye.